to one topic which is very common amongst Indians is inheritance planning, right? Because we're all expats, we leave our country behind. We have different laws in India. We have different laws in UAE. What are the biggest issues you've seen from your experience so far? And also, after that, what advice would you give on inheritance planning to everyone, including women around this?
It's as basic as you should know what are the ingredients somebody is using to prepare your meal. If I'm just consuming carbs, I don't expect my skin to glow because carbs won't give me that glow.
Yes.
Right? My body has to have all the nutrition. Again, I'm working day and night in the UAE. I'm just ignoring my family. Of course, you ignore your health. You do everything and you invest all your money, say in stocks or in a property. But you don't know if you die, where does the property go? Is your mother able to enjoy that property? Will your children be able to have access to those funds or not? In that case, the first recommendation that I give to any client or anybody in general, all the audience is, you should prepare a will. What is a will? Will is basically a simple document which says that after you're no more on this planet, so-and-so person should take your property and assets. Why it is very important? Because it is not a necessity that I'm in very good terms with my husband or my wife. I may not want my parents to take my property after I die because they already have a lot. Maybe they take it, but then they give it to my elder brothers, sisters, whom I'm not in talking terms with. So it's always better to take a decision beforehand where your assets should go after you're not there. Now, the problem with the UAE law is that it's all Sharia law because we know it's not a secular country. Islam is the official religion. The government says it. But India, it's a secular country. It means all the religions, they are free to practice, propagate their values. At the same time, for personal matters, your religion takes over. So in India, for all the family matters, whether it be your guardianship rights, you want to adopt a child, it's your marriage, it's your divorce, and it's your property. Your religion laws will take over. Now, the problem here is, for example, if somebody's husband passes away, if you don't have a will, your family members, which would include your husband, wife, and children, they all have a simultaneous share. Now imagine the husband is not there, the children are not ready to take care of the property at this stage. Maybe I'm not in talking terms with my parents who are back in India. I don't want to give them the share. I want my wife to take care of the property and look after my children. Now, in case there is no will, what will happen to the wife? Do you think she'll go to the court in that mental state? I'm not saying that the law is biased or it does not take care of the expats, but then why do you have to go through that entire hassle? You should always protect yourself, your assets, and make a will.
And how expensive is it to get a will?
There are different platforms at which you can just go and get your will drafted and registered, including DIFC, Dubai Courts, Abu Dhabi Courts. Depending upon which platform do you choose, you can save your money. Like DIFC is the most expensive one. It charges to 10,000 dirham, which is pretty much of an amount. Dubai Courts and Abu Dhabi Courts are comparatively like 1,000, 1,200 dirhams. Okay, looking at the price, of course, everybody wants to go to the court. Yes. But understand the difference between these platforms. See, the courts always follow the civil law, which is the law of the land of the UAE, which is primarily Sharia law. Coming to the other side, DIFC, it follows the common law. India is a common law country. UK is a common law country. So the law is very different. So no matter what the Sharia law says, if you have your will registered with DIFC, your property will go as per your whims and fancies, whatever you have got noted down. That is one difference. Second difference is that in Dubai courts and Abu Dhabi courts, even if you have your will stating that your property should go to A, B, C, eventually understand what is the mindset of the judge who's been trained in Sharia law. Their interpretation would always be different than somebody who's sitting in DIFC because that person is trained in common law. Apart from these two things, it's a matter of convenience also. For example, for DIFC, if your beneficiaries, say your children, your husband, they are not in the country, even if they are remotely situated, we can do a video conferencing and then they can be registered in the will. Unlike in the court system where the person has to be physically present. Otherwise, if you get into legal complexities, you will eventually favor that one.
What are the most common will mistakes people are likely to make when they write a will?
I've had some funny experiences. So there was this couple which approached me and so the husband did not tell the wife that he had invested in 2-3 properties because maybe, I don't know, he wanted to give surprise or whatever. You're spending money. We're creating a will. You must include all the assets and properties which you have. So hiding about your assets is a common mistake a lot of people do. Second, most of the people think that a will is all about your properties, real estate investment. No. Even if it's your bank account, which has just 50,000 dirhams, what if you die and nobody can access that account? So you should also include your bank accounts. Even if it's just say 20,000 dirhams, spend 5,000, spend 10,000 and get that protected. So these are the things.
What about kids? I think Sharia law is different.
I always ask my clients in the will, if you want to include your children, who should be your ultimate beneficiaries. What if your spouse dies before your children can get the property? So these are all the things that you must discuss with your clients and take care of everything beforehand. Because there's no point you spend money, you get a will drafted, registered, but it's unclear. So there has to be a clear guideline as to who's going to be the beneficiary, what is the percentage of share you want to give to each person. Maybe, you want to give 80% to your wife and 20% to your children. Then you have to tell me whether you have one child or two children. Then what's their age, whether they're minor or major, when you want them to take care of the property. So everything, first it has to come from the client. If the client does not trust me, again, that's my duty also to gain the trust of the client as a lawyer. Yeah, I mean, we can't really come to a good drafted will. Otherwise, I think it's a waste of time and money.
Yeah, of course. I've created a will. Do I need to update the will also?
This is another difference between Dubai Courts, Abu Dhabi Courts and DIFC. In the court system, you can't update your will. For that, you have to register another will. But in DIFC, you do have an option of updating the will. It means you can add another asset.